The first time I truly knew how damaged this family had become was when I heard Prince Harry say those words on television. He stared right into the camera and stated he wants his father and brother back. "I wanted to be part of a family, not an institution," he remarked. "It was real and it was raw and it crushed my heart, but here's the deal." He said the words with the walls of the palace already closing in on him. What Harry didn't know at the time was that his last-ditch appeal, the one regarding the royal status of his children and their safety, had already been turned down by his own father. The king had made his decision, and it wasn't his grandkids. It's been 6 years since Harry and Meghan left their official duties. 6 years of headlines, interviews, books, and a family rift that has only worsened with time. It seemed momentarily that the pair had worked out their new life to perfection. They have a $100 million Netflix agreement, the biggest in history. They have a $20 million partnership with Spotify. They had 2 small children, Archie and Lilibet, and a gorgeous mansion in California. But as the kids grew up, things changed. Harry started to ponder about the future, about their Britishness, and about their safety when they visited his own country. And that's what pushed him to make a stressful new ultimatum to his father. The story goes back to a recent private meeting. Harry flew to the UK and had tea with King Charles. The brief meeting immediately sparked speculation that Harry was seeking a means to bring Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet back into the fold of the royals. Maybe he wanted something smaller, something part-time, something that would allow him to fulfill his duty to the monarch and still preserve his Hollywood deals. Royal sources say their dreams have been crushed. The monarch is following a golden rule set by the late Queen Elizabeth. The regulation bars royals from undertaking official activities if they are making money on the side from private commercial deals. That's a straight line. You're either in or you're out. No middle ground, which would mean Harry would have to leave behind everything he'd established in America. No Netflix, no Spotify, no book deals, just the head. Sources say this was in fact a premeditated test by the king at a 1-hour meeting, which added to the tension. He was trying to see if Harry would sell out confidential details to the press. While Harry's team maintains he is solely focused on his father's health, the king was taking no chances. Harry openly defended his memoir, stating he had a clear conscience and merely wanted to rectify inaccurate stories. But with the monarch unwilling to budge on the regulations and Harry keeping his ground, the bridge to family reunion has officially burnt down. But here's the deal. This whole thing is a lot more convoluted than anybody thought. As it turns out, Harry never really wanted to cut ties with his family at all. 6 years ago, he had every hope of remaining an active part of royal life, but a huge make-or-break negotiation turned out to be the one that pushed him out. Tension had been growing behind the gates of the palace for months before the major break, especially following Harry and Meghan's official tour to Africa. That was the same emotional roller coaster that Meghan confided in a journalist that she was absolutely not okay. She admitted that she was really struggling as a new mum in the royal fold, living in a harsh glare that never seemed to lessen. Back in the UK, Harry knew they couldn't carry on living like this, so he went directly to the Sandringham estate for a big meeting to discuss what they could do. He was very determined to find a peaceful way forward with his grandmother Queen Elizabeth. So Harry's major idea was to get a half-and-half-out deal. He and Meghan would be fully self-financed from private projects, but would nonetheless turn up to support the crown and do official tasks when asked. It sounded like a modern middle ground. But the palace establishment would not have it. The 3 highest private secretaries on the estate instantly went into summit mode and came up with their own severe proposition. Instead of rescuing Harry, they handed him a brutal decision. He had to be in or out. It was a difficult pill to accept, this frigid refusal to compromise. This is precisely why the Sussexes elected to spend Christmas abroad that year, instead of participating in with the family festivities. Harry returned to Canada feeling totally pushed out against his will, knowing his goal of a modern royal role was dead. In June 2020, the pair formally packed up their lives and moved to California to start over afresh with newborn Prince Archie. A year later, they welcomed a daughter, Princess Lilibet, born on American soil. In their first statement announcing their resignation, Harry and Meghan said the decision occurred after months of internal conversations. Queen Elizabeth responded publicly with a beautiful and polite declaration that they'd always be beloved members of the family. But for all those good comments, the real result of their leave soon became evident. The palace acted quickly to obliterate their footprint. Following the publication of Harry's memoir, the couple were asked to leave their UK home at Frogmore Cottage and to move out completely, meaning they no longer have a permanent base in Britain. Harry has only been to his own nation a couple of times since stepping down, and the children have been once to his motherland. What began as a frantic quest for safety and a fair middle ground has today produced a permanent, heartbreaking split. But that long separation may finally be ending. The family is preparing to cross the seas for a reunion watched by the whole world, after years of avoiding British soil. Meghan and Harry are now formally making plans to bring their family back to the UK for the first time in 4 years. Next month in July, 7-year-old Archie and 5-year-old Lilibet are all set to accompany their parents on this high-profile excursion. This long-awaited journey has actually been brewing for a very long time. Prince Harry will take part in ceremonial activities marking the key year to go until the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham, which will take place from July 10 to July 17. The family holiday has come at an unusual time and has brought huge attention to Althorp House, the ancient ancestral estate of Princess Diana, located in West Northamptonshire. It is a perfectly natural base for the family to stay in during their vacation, with the large estate being around an hour from Birmingham. What's really got the rumor mill in overdrive is a brand new notification on the estate's official website. It says the site will be entirely closed to the public next month on July 10 and July 11. The unexpected shutdown has led to speculation that Harry and his family could be planning a special visit, or possibly a full stay, to the Spencer family home. Althorp House is also the hallowed spot where Princess Diana is buried. The family's journey follows closely after the late princess' first birthday in July, so it would be a tremendously memorable event for Harry, Meghan, and their young children. Even little Lilibet, with her formal middle name selected in honor of Diana, has her grandmother's legacy with her wherever she goes. Harry has an extremely good relationship with his uncle Charles Spencer and has spent safely at Althorp House on prior visits to the UK, including a quiet stay in August 2024 when he returned to attend the burial of Lord Robert Fellows. Althorp House seems a very strong possibility, but it is not the only option on the table. In fact, King Charles has stepped in to provide his younger son and family housing on a royal estate during their visit. But palace sources say there has been virtually no response yet to the king's invitation. The monarch has shown such generosity in the past, including offering Harry a place to stay at Buckingham Palace during prior solo journeys, which the Duke ultimately refused. There is a big catch though, even if Harry and Meghan do decide to accept the king's gift. The housing does not have any additional security arrangements. The palace is quick to remind out that decisions on protective security are handled exclusively by the Home Office and a special committee, saying that the king does not have the personal power to give police protection. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex lost their taxpayer-funded police protection when they decided to step down as senior working royals in 2020. Harry has contested this hard decision several times in the London courts. He is terrified for the physical safety of his wife and children anytime they are on British territory. There are no definite arrangements for Harry and his father to have a formal reunion during his impending visit in July. Without an established timetable, the father and son have nonetheless managed to meet together on earlier visits. Most recently, they reconnected at the King's London home on September 10, 2025, when Harry was in town for the Wellchild Awards and other Invictus Games events. Their first face-to-face talk in 19 long months lasted roughly 55 minutes and was a private, emotional meeting. It is very rare for the whole family to go across the ocean together. Harry and Meghan have only visited to the UK with their children once since their move, back in June 2022, for the late Queen Elizabeth's historic Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Archie and Lilibet were kept completely out of the spotlight and didn't take part in any public events throughout that historic tour. The Duke and Duchess were in England for a short run of charitable engagements when Queen Elizabeth died in September 2022, and they extended their stay to attend her state burial and the associated memorial services. The struggle over security remains the single biggest obstacle to meaningful family healing, and Harry has been extremely public about his anxieties. In a heartfelt address before the High Court in London during a December 2023 hearing, Prince Harry said that he is in dire need of top-notch protection for his 2 children in order to feel fully at home in his native land. The United Kingdom is home and still at the heart of my children's heritage, and I want them to be just as comfortable there as they are in their current home in the United States, he said. In no uncertain terms, he informed the court that a meaningful homecoming cannot happen if there is no option to keep his family safe on British soil. Thankfully, tensions between the two sides have looked to thaw just a little bit in recent months after their brief autumn encounter. Prince Harry has been upfront about his genuine feelings, saying that he would absolutely love a full reconciliation with his family. He said there is no point fighting anymore because life is valuable. He touched on his father's cancer diagnosis, which was made public in 2024. Harry said the monarch had found it difficult to talk to him because of the legal dispute over security, but it would be lovely to be reconciled. The estate is full with great personal memories for the couple, and a calm stay at Althorp House might be just what they need to find consolation. Back in 2022, Harry wrote poignantly in his memoir about rowing Meghan out to see his mother's grave site for the first time to celebrate the 25th anniversary of her loss. The late princess is interred in the grounds, on a pretty calm island, in the center of an ornamental lake. The Duke of Sussex said he felt a surge of emotion as he laid flowers on the grave and asked his mother for guidance and clarity before leaving Meghan to enjoy her own quiet moment. When he returned, he saw Meghan kneeling with her eyes closed and both palms flat against the stone, asking for the exact same clarity and guidance. But that clarity was impossible to come by within the royal circle, particularly when it came to forging bridges with the women who were already entrenched within the palace gates. The world wanted Meghan and her new sister-in-law to have an unshakable friendship, but behind closed doors it was a very different tale. The complex rift between Prince Harry and his family has been one of the most talked topics over the last few years. But one particular interaction has drawn as much attention, and that is the tight, dissolving relationship between Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. On paper, they certainly seemed like they should have been the ultimate allies. They were the same age and both came from relatively average middle-class origins into the tremendous glare of the royal family. However, despite their similar viewpoints, the two ladies never seemed to develop a real friendship. Instead, a terribly frustrating tale of a titanic feud became the center of worldwide tabloids. The incessant rumors ultimately came to a head during Meghan and Harry's spectacular television interview with Oprah Winfrey. Meghan claimed during that program that the Princess of Wales had made her cry amid the difficult wedding preparations, despite months of media headlines reporting the exact opposite tale. In the same interview, Meghan tried to laugh off the incident by claiming that Kate eventually admitted the mistake, apologized, and even sent flowers. Royal sources say the emotions at the heart of the row were far deeper than an argument over clothing. From the start, the two women just didn't have anything in common. They had worked together in an official capacity, but never really got on. Early on, there was optimism that Kate would be someone Meghan could rely on, given that most of her earliest period as a working royal was a very lonely and isolating experience. She needed a word of encouragement or a little sisterly support at her darkest moments. Once they had been outsiders, brought into the ancient House of Windsor to live lives unimaginable different. But sources claim Kate was not interested in that kind of tight relationship with Meghan. Some said if Kate didn't like someone, she could be really frigid. The unbridgeable distance between the two ladies also shattered the loving tie between Harry and Kate. Kate was quite close to Harry long before Meghan came into the picture. He used to tell everyone that she was the sister he never had but always wanted. In his memoir, he wrote of his affection for making Kate giggle. He was looking forward to the day when he would find a serious partner so all four of them could hang out and laugh together. Alas, those balmy days are no more. Kate will forever look back on those wonderful moments of the past with fondness, but after all of their tell-all television interviews, she says there is just no way she could ever trust Harry or Meghan again, sources tell People. Harry and Meghan's choice to go back to working royal life and relocate to California only added to the stress. The sudden exit created a tremendous working vacuum and put huge pressure on William and Kate to plug the gap and take on additional formal tasks, obviously fueling the anger. Meghan was extremely frank about being completely unprepared by the stiff reality of royal life in their Netflix documentary series. She remembered the very first time William and Kate came over for a meal at their home, and she was wearing tattered jeans and was utterly barefoot. She said she has always been a huge hugger, but didn't then know that such casual physical friendliness is highly unsettling for many British people. Meghan said she learned very quickly from that point on that the severe formality of the appearance of the royal family went right through to the interior. She thought at first that the heavy norms of decorum were only for the public, a manner of being in the spotlight that they could switch off the second they closed the doors to rest. But she was terribly astonished to know that formality never ends even behind closed doors. At first, Kate thought the fights between William and Harry were the ordinary immaturity, stubbornness, and the natural dynamic of heir and spare. She reckoned it was only a matter of time until Harry wanted to do more than play a little part. But the true dividing line that set the couples on quite divergent roads was Harry and Meghan's supposed attitude towards the royal servants. William and Kate were very concerned for their personnel. The claims of bullying leveled against Meghan during her time as a senior royal caused an unhealable divide. The charges were even formally investigated by Buckingham Palace. Meghan's lawyers vehemently refuted the claims as a premeditated smear campaign, but the results of the review were never made public. Since stepping back from the tumultuous world of royalty, the Sussexes have focused on their Archie Foundation and a series of media ventures. But the damage to the family is done totally. The so-called Fab Four last appeared together at Queen Elizabeth's burial in 2022 and live thousands of miles apart, totally out of touch today. But the breach between the sisters-in-law appears to be almost permanent. while an even larger tempest is gathering between the brothers. The royal family is gearing up for a tremendous storm next month, and the latest reports show a massive divide that may never be healed. Prince Harry and Meghan are preparing to return their family to the UK, and Prince William has made it quite plain he will not be seeing his brother at all. The two brothers are at an all-time low in their relations. King Charles is making time in his packed schedule to finally see his grandkids, whom he hasn't seen in 4 long years. The king is apparently so keen for the reunion to happen that he has offered the Sussexes royal accommodation, and even to cover the family's security measures with his own money. But the king's charitable actions are causing severe friction with his eldest son as he tries to make amends. Sources close to Prince William claim he is genuinely upset that the king is bending over backwards to make Harry's trip possible. While court aides are trying to play down any public consequences, everyone knows that William has made his strict opinions about a reconciliation extremely apparent to his father. Those who know the family well say William is known to harbor a grudge. And more than that, he just cannot forgive his brother for the huge anguish Harry has caused the family over the last 5 years. William is convinced Harry went too far when he spoke in that opera interview and when he published his tell-all book. In his autobiography, Harry revealed very intimate, private information regarding his and Meghan's troubled relationship with Kate. William has learned not to take them personally, but protecting his wife is his #1 priority, and those public insults are something he just is not ready to go past. While Harry's main purpose is to promote the upcoming Invictus Games, the actual narrative here is the family reunion. Sources have verified Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet will absolutely be flying with him. This huge summer journey is a particular occasion for Harry to expose his children to both sides of his family. He wants them not just to see the Windsors, but also to have quality time with the Spencers. This vacation has been in the works for quite a while. Insiders say Harry has been really desperate to have his kids over to the UK for a long time, and there has been a great feeling of sadness around him that he hasn't been able to bring them here sooner. He has even informed close friends he can't wait to be touching down in his birthplace with his family. But there will be no olive branch meeting with William and Kate despite Harry's delight and persistent attempts to make contact. Sources believe William will actually make sure he is miles away when Harry comes to visit, just to avoid any unpleasant interactions altogether, with William not returning his calls. William is not in a reconciling mood right now, and his father's repeated efforts to bring Harry back into the fold are just upsetting him more. It is all a demonstration of how differently the king and future monarch see this ongoing family drama. William is known to have a strong resentment. King Charles just wants serenity in his life, explained a close family acquaintance. The two men are coming at it from entirely different angles. Charles believes life is too short and a father has to forgive his children and go on with his continuous health issues. William, however, won't do that. He feels like his father is making a huge mistake by accepting Harry back with open arms after all that has transpired. He is sticking his ground, and it appears he may never change his decision, leaving the two royal brothers at a stark divide as the family arrival date nears.